15 months. All right. So for those watching on YouTube, me and Nugi are just gonna do like a chill talk about Ruthless and stuff while we're playing Ruthless. So not a super serious podcast. It's kind of
Super
serious.
serious.
Because Nugi's here. Nugi's a very serious person.
I'm always serious.
See? How are you finding it?
Just like first impressions?
Yeah, first impressions of Ruthless.
Okay. Let's see. Where do we start? Right, so not having any support gems is like the first thing you run into. That's very different.
Yeah.
Where you start using a much larger variety of skills, because if you have two skills, like if you're casting two skills at the same time compared to one, if they do the same damage, well, you're doing double damage, right? Rather than just forcing the same one.
Yeah.
So like having like a totem out, and then your skill, and then anything with a duration is really good.
Yeah, Cold Out's been really good
so
for that.
So that's really interesting. I find that it kind of encourages you to have more things going at a time.
Yeah.
Where PoE generally becomes like a very singular, on the one thing focused kind of deal. So that's nice. Secondly, I would say the absence of movement skills makes monsters more interesting. You start recognizing, you know, things that are fast, things that are slow, things that are nice to fight against, things that can corner you with like projectiles everywhere. So I find that really refreshing. Also, the not having to worry what kind of weapons you're using or what else to essentially allow you to sprint across the map with a spammy skill.
Right.
So that's really nice.
It does open up for more skills being viable.
Yeah. On a current, then there's all the currency and the drops. I generally really like it. So I've actually been playing with no filter for the entire time.
Really?
Yes. Now, you should use a filter because you can have things drop behind you and stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really. I'm taking in the experience here and just going by like the old cues, because I can remember them all. All the alchemy drops, the kit, I can remember exactly how they sound like. A gem drop, I'll like, ting, oh, something dropped, and I'll go back and find it. So it's like, it's bad. I don't think I've really missed anything because I'm going slow as well. So you don't really get to, since I'm essentially still on the 2 link at this point. I haven't really traded much to get my links going, so.
Yeah.
But it works.
What build are you playing?
Penance brand. So I'm doing like I have like the lightning node with the fist of lightning conversion, and then I'm just doing wave of conviction penance brand. That's it. That's basically it.
Oh.
Then I have some like, you know, vortex on left click. I'll have like myself cast curse, and I can smite if I really want to increase the damage. So that's kind of what I'm going with.
And did you start with that, or did you change into that?
I started with armor brand and something. It was like brands and wave of conviction. And
right.
Something, I think.
That makes
sense.
sense.
Working fine. Yeah.
Because like early on, I feel like I was going to do armor brand,
and totem as well.
But I had forgotten to take desecrate, and I didn't want to not have Prima, so I was like, ooh. Yeah. That's why I'm cold dot, because I was like, you know what? I'm just getting all the cold dot gems.
Nice. No, that's good. I think cold dot is probably one of the best starters in this.
Yeah, I
think like overall,
it's probably the strongest starter.
Yeah. I think overall, to recap, I would say, like the scarcity, I like that you are... It's odd, but it's the whole, like, the not having the movement skill also kind of opens the game up in a different way.
Yeah, I find that each individual boss fight, like even map bosses, are actually dangerous because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, lower damage.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with movement skills, the game is not designed in its current way to be without movement skills. So, like, you'll have, like, Ice Prism, other things that lock you in place. Where it's like, if this is whatever supposed to be hardcore, once you go to a certain level of difficulty, an ice prison will 100% of the time always kill you. Like,
Well,
Good job.
no.
like under the right conditions. So you either log out, portal out, or like you will not survive. Like once the right combination of mods, you will never survive. There comes a point where
Assuming
you
your
cannot
quartz
survive.
flask is out. Quartz just runs through it.
Sure, true.
Like I'm playing with a quartz and
You
I'm
probably
saving
need
my
to have
quartz
2
flask.
quartz blasts eventually.
I
least if you don't, you have
find
to have 2.
that I'm like way more careful with how I press my flask. It seems like very 2013 PoE,
Yes.
where I'm saving my granite flask for if there's charging or rolling enemies and things like that. So
Yes.
that's like very different back in 2013 kind of style.
Yeah, sure. I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting.
I did it. I mean,
I'm doing my second chamber. I'm excited.
Oh,
Don't know. I didn't get a level 2. Like, I think the best thing about chamber is double corruption room and switch unique room. But now I didn't get the I didn't get like the good corruption room, or sorry, gem or unique room. I got like the level
wait,
1
what are you
room.
running?
Unique room?
Where? Lab?
No. Alva. Alva Temple.
I did it.
Oh, you're running Alva.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna do my first boss.
First boss?
Yep. First Alva Temple boss.
Oh,
Dust and rot.
nice.
Smell.
Yeah, because
How
I
are you
wasn't
finding the
able to
leak
connect
mechanics?
it.
Time to make history.
So Breach seemed pretty okay. It's very rippy. I'm like clutching very hard on decoy totem, like giga hard.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they nerf decoy. But I don't know. Ritual seems okay because it's like not that hard and it's probably aptly rewarding. I feel like Jun could probably be buffed a little bit because obviously you don't get veiled items and they don't give anything. Like all the ones I've killed so far, like they are literally only for the safe houses. That was a little bit jarring, I find. That it's only for the safe houses in Katarina.
At last. Go out.
Alva seems very rewarding, but also a little bit disappointing. Like I got a tier 3 vault room, and I got 1 jeweler, 1 alteration, and 1 transmute.
Right.
And like it was quite a lot of work getting that.
Yes.
Like in 48 hours played, I've had 2 Alva temples while actively trying to get it. So
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just found after 40 maps, I found my very first natural spawning Alva. Like,
yeah.
So that actually that leads into a question I would like to ask you. What do you think is the best? So there's something I noted, which is I think what they've done with they've gone. You can either hammer down on the frequency of side content you get, or the reward, or you can do both. And I feel like they did both, and I'm not sure if that was a good idea. Because you're working towards these things that are supposed to be like a helping hand, not just like a side effort to give you kind of the same.
Well,
but you should just map instead kind of deal.
yeah. So at the moment, what it sounds like you need to do, and I don't like, the problem is like, I don't know what they want people to do. Do you want people to literally be stuck in white maps and never go out of them? Because then it's pretty okay right now. It does accomplish that. And then you might get like the rare journey where you get to go to red maps. Right now, it seems like the way to get to red maps is to stack up curate missions. Like, because you can maybe get to tier 11s with large investment. Like, you do like a few weeks worth of trading, getting alchemies and chisels, and then you get lucky and you get up to tier 11s and you try to stay there for a little bit and you try to get some curate missions. And eventually those curate missions will give you tier 16 stuff. But like, is that where they want it to be? Like, it's very, very hard to know what kind of feedback to give without like, because they kind of said they don't know
So
where people are gonna end up.
right. Like, I think right now I think we've gotten a very bare bones because they definitely don't want to give too much early on, and they would rather like. I think they're in the point where like we're gonna like start very ruthless and then build up from there. Because I don't think it'll stay the same. I think they will actually give like. I'm hoping that they'll get us slightly more access to things that are kind of crucial to making the game feel good.
Yeah, I think the only thing that feels literally dog shit right now to me is alterations. Because they're
they're very
already a lot less useful because we don't have regals at all. They don't like for
Is there a recipe for it at all?
not as far as I know.
So there's no chaos recipe right now?
People said it wasn't, but I haven't tested it myself.
Okay.
But like it seems like most recipes I've looked for have been gone at least.
Right.
So yeah, regals have been very, very hard to get. I've had 2 so far.
Yeah.
That seems surprising. Like only other person I know that found
I've had one. You probably have double my playtime.
Yeah.
So like I have 1, you have 2.
Yeah, makes sense. I have a Bisco.
Oh damn.
So like I like things noticeably drop a lot better. I have like life before and after Bisco.
Ah, right. Yeah, I have 100 MF or 100 rarity.
Oh. Yeah, that's very
That's, like,
good
all
too.
right. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm relying a lot on the master missions and just spamming maps. Definitely adds a lot of tedium. I'm literally just my life is waiting for master missions.
Yep.
And
That
then
was like my biggest because okay, this is kind of how I see it. It feels as if we went back before the Atlas tree, and then you stripped it further down, and then you added what you once had by default onto the passive tree. Which I think is going a bit too far. I don't know.
yeah. Because I have almost all the essence nodes now. I think I have a 13% chance for essences to be in my map. In 5 hours of playing, I found 1 essence.
Wow.
I'm mapping at a pretty decent pace.
Obviously, you have a little bit of RNG going against you right now, but that's definitely something that's going to happen.
Yeah. I would be hoping to have like 5 to 10 essences in this time.
Like, I think regardless of how hard and scarce everything else is, I think taking away a lot of the impact of the Atlas makes the Atlas a lot less interesting.
I just found zealotry.
Oh, I found that
Auras
yesterday.
are
That's very
so
nice.
rare, dude.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like the whole like skill thing. I think was really good.
Oh yeah. I agree. Oh, I almost died. Very scary. Whew. Yeah, no, I really badly want the grace. I think that's what I feel like I'm missing to be able to do like higher maps.
What?
Oh, Grace.
Yeah. Then I could do ghost shrouds.
Right.
That'd be very nice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I don't know. It's definitely been like both alchemies could drop a little bit more too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's been very bare bones.
Yeah.
Also, regrets are insanely rare. I didn't even think about it until Viro messaged me about it yesterday, but
I've been so stingy on clicking any like just deciding whether or not I want to go brands. I'm like, if I want to spec out of this at any point, I'm like, and not be brands. This might fuck me over.
I found 2 regrets today, and that was my first one.
Yeah, I found 1 yesterday. That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just like obviously they go into regret or alchemies if you need them to. And yeah, I feel like I'm just way too encouraged to stay in tier 1 to 5 maps for an insane amount of time. I would rather. I think I would enjoy it a little bit more if you stagnated around the yellows. It seems very hard to get to and stay in yellows. Like I feel like everyone is like breaking their pools very easily, as well as to be fair, it is a little bit of a hardcore problem. Because I could take I could take supplication for another. No wait. Shaping the skies for another 10% map tier higher.
Right, I'm taking all of that. That's my. I don't see a way to really.
Yeah, but it's so rippy. I have all of them
I have
except
Shaping the
that
Skies.
one.
I don't know. I don't think that's too rippy. Shaping the Skies.
Well, I have 3 of those. I just don't have the bottom right one.
Right. Okay.
I have shaping the valley, seas, and mountain. Oh,
Right.
and the only thing that I've found is OP is the guaranteed soul fight when completing a map.
Ready and
Yes.
Um,
That's the one thing I saw as well.
At least it is extremely OP compared to everything else. Like Essence is
Yes.
8% chance for Essence, whereas this is
Yeah.
literally guaranteed soul fight every single map. Like
Every
that
time.
is crazy.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Once you get, so if you go through that one, you will eventually get to a point where, can't you do darkness farming again? In Dell, once you have the right level unlocked, you can always go down there and just sit.
Yeah, probably. Although I will say for hardcore, it is extremely deadly. Nearly all my close calls were in Delve. Like the bats almost one shot me.
Yeah, they're very scary.
It's so scary. And like darkness with no movement ability is extremely scary as well.
Yeah, it's true.
There's definitely been like very like risk versus reward. But yeah, it does feel pretty rewarding. Do you see yourself league starting with this?
With the current atlas and map system, no.
Yeah.
I have to say it's been the allure kind of stopped, especially like once I saw the moment I put a transmute on a map and I saw a 4% increased chance for a map. So this
Yeah.
transfer is like so I'm getting an extra map because I feel like on average you get like 1 map out of a map or something,
Yeah.
right? So I'm getting like
And this is after the buff.
I'm getting 1 extra map every 25 maps for like that one mod. Maybe it'll go up like, I don't know. It's just that seems
It's a little
really-
much.
Yeah. And then I ran an elk map. It was like 19%. I was like, this is so little. The map drop chance and the quantity when everything else is so low already. And elks are really rare. Like elking a map
It's such
to
an
hope
investment.
to even get an elk back is like,
Yeah, it's insane. And like it used to be, from what people told me from the first alpha, they were running out of tier 1 maps. And they had to run Kitava to get maps. So like this is after the buff. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they buff it again.
right.
But it's very slow. It's very interesting. I definitely like enjoy it as like a, ooh, I'm done with PoE, let's hop on Ruthless kind of thing. I don't see myself playing it at least, or absolutely not.
Yeah. But I think they nailed a lot of the stuff along the way up until maps. But yeah, and then after maps, it's like it does very much feel like okay. So if you wipe your knowledge of PoE and all the high end game content literally just disappeared out of your mind, and the only thing you were thinking about is like getting to red maps, then I could see the system being like, okay, but that is literally what PoE used to be. There was no other content. It was just you go through the map tiers. Getting up a tier was exciting, and you're just kind of trying for that all the time. That was what you're doing.
Yeah. Personally, peak PoE like mapping experience for me was probably, oh god, I'm almost dying. Was probably around Tempest, where you were mostly sustaining tier 11s to 12s, and you occasionally went into tier 15s, which was the highest tier. But you wouldn't stay chaining tier 15s. That'd be very hard,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
with
yeah.
investing. It's incredibly different though. But yeah, definitely normal league start for me, and then play it later. I kind of wish it didn't
Yeah.
launch at the same time. And if they like, it seems like they were going to do leagues, then I hope they don't do every new league, because at least I don't know, I think it's hard to feel like you don't want to start start over each time.
Right.
Also,
I recall them saying that they might do it.
Yeah.
Like the reset is not within a single league. Like you
I
would
hope so.
do
Yeah,
it-
I said that on a podcast with you. I saw.
Yes.
I also just found out Sacrifice of Dusk exists.
Oh.
I just
Okay.
got one.
Now that'll be exciting to do because it's a guarantee unique, no?
Yeah. And I just got Story of the Val.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where do you get your fragment from?
I got it from I upgraded the tier 3 fire chamber to max.
Oh. Interesting.
And I just realized that this little Roomba might be insanely hard when I don't have a movement ability for the sonic waves.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that Valside areas don't exist.
Oh, true. They don't exist either. Huh.
Oh. Okay, I killed it.
Job. Hey, you have a lot of damage then.
Oh yeah, a lot. Actually, a lot.
We need to fix that. That's not very ruthless of you.
I mean, if I was SSF, I would be struggling a lot, but because I'm trade and the only other cold daughter died, I've been able to buy everything. And I've found so much to trade with people too. So I have a 5-link cold snap. I'm about to get a 5-link vortex.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have creeping frost, which I'll have on a 4-link. So that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that trade is worse because there's less items, which is a point people make all the time. Is that if a lot less drops, we won't have anything to trade with. You're gonna be poor. You're not gonna have X, Y, and Z. It's like I feel like this is a good reminder that it's not really about how much you have.
Oh yeah. I mean, to be fair though, I think Ruthless will be really good as long as there's at least 100 people playing. But right now, when there's there's 3 of us online or 4, that's pretty rough.
I'm ready. And
No, sure.
I'm definitely feeling that's too little.
No, I get that, but it's more like that you're able to find people or to find a trade that is worthwhile.
Yeah.
Doesn't require, that much. Most people don't realize how much stuff they have, I think, in general in PoE.
Oh yeah.
That they can switch around. It's just doing the whole switch around to feel as if you're getting what you want. You have to do so many small steps all the time.
Yeah. I also
It's kind of
feel
overwhelming.
early on in things like this is a lot more fun because things aren't super min-maxed yet.
Right.
And I think trade dies for me a little in games after a while because no matter what the game is, and this is why I end up playing Iron Man a lot, it ends up being you're no longer farming for things you need. You end up farming for whatever gives the most amount of currency and then buying what you need. Whereas
Right.
early on in games, it's rarely like that. And I feel like people are a lot more lenient on trades and stuff. People are like, yeah, you can have that. I don't really need it. If it helps somebody else out, that's a good thing. I feel like that happens more early in games. When it's more min-maxed and larger populations, you get a lot less of that.
That's probably also because early on in games, you don't. So you can't just this probably leans into what you said, but you can't really put a number on everything you find.
Yeah. No,
When you don't know what you're missing out of. Trading it away.
Yeah, it definitely changes everything.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do multiple characters now in the alpha, or are you just focusing on your main?
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna I would rather save my energy on other things. Like we're gonna get the announcement soon.
Bro. I
I
really want to do
I'd rather-
Aziri.
Oh, it's like
If you find like Azirian temple, let me know.
sure. I'm not that invested in getting anywhere in Ruthless. It's like
Yeah.
it's no different than it was like 10 years ago.
No,
going
for
through
sure.
These things, so it's like,
I mostly
It's-
was really glad I got access because I wanted to know, is this something I want to league start? And it is definitely not something I
Yeah.
want to league start.
yeah, I see that.
Very much like normal PoE.
Yeah, I think what they have done with especially like the Atlas, the content, and all that leading up, especially after the Atlas passive came in, is really good PoE. So I would like
Yeah.
them to see. I would like to see them find a way to lean more into that in a ruthless environment that takes like some of the concepts that are like some of the best concepts that they've found in like each iteration of PoE and making it really hard in the process.
Yeah. It's also like, what I like the most is just how much it makes you appreciate things.
Yeah. Such as just
Like, just finding an alteration was like huge.
right. No, I think the scarcity is good.
I just got a Carrick mission. I'm really excited. Like, yeah, scarcity can be fun. I think my favorite thing about doing this mode would end up being group found with like you and Steel and some others, like a little bit into the league. I think that's like probably what I would enjoy.
Yeah.
I think that could be fun. And maybe that group play as well. Like obviously Auras would be really strong because you have so few of them.
Okay, so that's kind of if they changed auras, then maybe aura play would be a I'm out of here, duck leave immediately.
How so?
I am so bored of the whole thing. Like this like stacking a buff, like the whole like it's like it's like a 5-man support 1 or 4-man support 1 League of Legends or whatever. It's like it's just not like I just don't care about it.
Oh, but even you running Grace and me running Determination.
Oh, like that? Sure. Okay. Like that you makes different character, but you, like a full-on like aura stacking dude and a cursor stacking dude and a rarity stacking dude and all of that. I don't know.
I mean, that'll definitely happen for sure.
Oh yeah, which is once that starts happening, I'm out.
Yeah,
Then I'm SSFing.
that's fair. I don't think that would take very long to happen though.
No, I know. Which is why it won't take very long until I probably SSF again.
Yeah, that's fair.
But right now, it's not really a thing. But yeah.
It's a very interesting mode because people have been like, is it harder than Gauntlet? And I'm like, no, but it's slower.
Yeah.
You have to play so slow. That's crazy.
Well, what does that mean? Playing slow.
Like I'm stuck in tier 1 maps looking for like master missions and stuff.
Right. It's more time consuming.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I could never see myself doing a Gauntlet Ruthless. It would just take too long for an event.
Sure. In that setting, I would agree. Well, it depends on like what the objective is.
Yeah. Like a Ruthless I-10 run could be like interesting. The other problem with Ruthless as well, for like, because obviously people ask me a lot if I want to run events in it. I feel like Ruthless is way more RNG than normal PoE. Because in normal PoE, I feel like yeah, you'll get like unlucky or lucky in some way, but most of the time it's pretty balanced out. Whereas in Ruthless, you could end up not even getting your support gems.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's
Okay,
like,
so you've literally gone back to all the conversations we had about the racing scene in PoE 10 years ago.
yeah.
So one of the reasons why they started adding vendor recipes, a lot of the vendor recipes we have right now with early power is because we went and said, hey, it's not fair for melee builds to be so disadvantaged against spell builds because they just level up their gems, whereas if we don't find at least a blue item, we can't compete. And then they introduced the rustic recipe.
Yeah. That was before my time. I started in like 2013.
And that trend kind of followed. That's like it's that kind of started the whole like, oh, we'll just make some recipes that people can use so that we have a more like, no matter what you play, you have like a way forward that's reasonable.
Yeah. Any predictions for the next league?
In terms of
Content?
like the league mechanic or
Everything,
a little
yeah.
bit more specific.
League mechanic? Are we gonna get bosses? Are there gonna be boats?
I do not expect much out of the league itself. I think it's gonna be. There's probably gonna be a boss or two. I don't know. I don't expect much. Like it's gonna look somewhat pretty. I don't think it's gonna be. And it's just like historically, recently, it's just like
By all reports,
the leagues have just not been very. I don't know. Elaborate or. I don't know what the word is. They've been a little bland.
Simple?
Simple?
Simple.
Simple. Yeah, I guess simple is a good way of putting it. So I don't expect much on that front. I expect the game to be a lot more enjoyable to play though.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm actually exciting to play. Because I don't really care to have like a crazy league mechanic. I've never really cared having like a league mechanic that did everything to me.
That's fair.
Like I want good changes in the game to
same.
further the game, no matter how I play it. And then if I can have a league mechanic that's good on top, I'm happy. That's how I've always played PoE. It's like whenever the meta, like, whenever they have bad meta shifts, that's worse than a bad league.
Oh, yeah.
Or no meta shifts is worse than the bad league.
You ready for
mechanic.
another 3 months of seismic trap?
I think that with the changes, it opens up enough of other builds to be able to exist.
The thing about temp chains and seismic, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Like any poison build, any dot build, all of those are going to be insane. And obviously seismic is the king of that, and so therefore it becomes like. But I don't really care at this point. I just want to play fun builds and not feel as if I'm like running into a wall all the time. And I think that'll be a lot easier now, with Arc Nemesis being different and curses being different. Like the curses changes opens up so much in terms of what you can try for.
Yeah.
Also defensive options, you probably won't need, like you can run Enfeeble and stuff and not feel as if you need like maybe Grace anymore or Determination.
That would be nice.
So I like that. I like that they're opening them up as being real defensive options again.
Although, I would say, like, I find maps a lot scarier than bosses right now in terms of rippiness. And Enfeeble and Temp Chains were good at that, and now they're getting slightly nerfed for that purpose.
Are
So,
they?
yeah, because they were like, we're gonna make them like worse against monsters, but better against bosses.
Oh, I guess.
And
guess
I'm like,
maybe.
I'm not really that scared of most bosses right now because they are very telegraphed and we do have movement abilities.
I think rares and maps are the scary part anyways. Maybe blues. But more rares. And that's where they
Bit of both,
become
yeah.
they become very powerful against rares now.
True.
Like they're getting like a baseline buff. And so I don't know. I think they're gonna be very nice. I don't think white mobs are really that difficult to deal with. It's always the blue packs. But the blue packs are scary for sure. Now that's actually gonna be interesting. How are blue packs gonna be? Did they say with Arc Nemesis?
No, they didn't mention blues, I think.
But they're gonna be the same. That's scary.
I personally don't feel like Arch Nemesis is in such a bad spot right now.
It's definitely
Personally.
better.
Like my main problem with the game right now is just crafting progression. Like going from white maps to red maps is like I hate that like spamming tier 1 maps can be like one of the best things right now.
You wanna know what I want them to do?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Remove meta mods altogether. Give us way more results. That's what I want to do. So you'll have those like pieces in between, and you know, that could be good. You try for some things. You know, you get them to 6 mods, good to go. Way more fun. Use your currencies instead of just sitting there meta modding, waiting for divines and all that stuff. Have more like incremental increases to your pieces. I could hit this, I could hit that. That could be interesting. I think meta mods are just
Chris has arrived in the channel. No, I mean, I don't think I would love that personally. Personally, for me, the most fun state of PoE and items has been recombinators because it
bring
was
more of a
very
combinator stack as well
powerful,
on top.
but it changed the entire way I looked at every item.
Do that as well. Recombinators back. Meta mods gone. No like blocking or all that. But give us all the crazy stuff to where we'll find all different pieces. You'll trade way more rares that have like some of the stats you need because you have the recombinators, and you won't like trying to perfect a single one. It'll be like more NG, but like way more iteration, and you'll have way more interesting items coming out of it that you can then trade.
I do like the I don't mind the meta mods, but I do like the keep prefixes, keep suffixes from the Eldritch currencies.
Oh, sure. I mean, I can accept the Eldritch currencies having those as special types of currencies for that. I'm okay with that.
And not before.
And then
those are good.
I like the
also lock you
direction
into-
of the new harvest, but I think it's terrible right now. Because before, if you find a harvest in a tier 1 map, you would get what, 10 to 15 crafts? Like random ones? And I could use those on my starter gear. Even if it was Reforged Fire, I could use that on the leather belt and try to get like fire resistant life. Whereas right now, if I get a craft, or if I get a harvest in the tier 1 map, that is going to get me between 1 and 3 crafts. And the big problem with those crafts is that that is 1 to 3 crafts, regardless if it's on a tier 16 or item level 68. So I think it needs to scale. I think it should count as 5 to 10 crafts on item level 68, and like lower the higher you go, like incremental scaling based on item level.
Could you like recap that again? Incremental scaling based on item level?
Yes, you know how
In
right now it
terms
costs like,
of-
let's say like 150, I can't remember exactly, but 150 blue to reforge chaos or whatever.
All right.
That should be different whether it's item level 86 or item level 68. Because right now we're so heavily
Right.
incentivized to spam tier 1 maps, wait for expedition, grab a shit ton of essences, and like there's no advantage in essences between farming tier 16s to tier 1s. We are just super incentivized to stay in tier 1s to tier 5s, and it's terrible. I think that's the worst thing for me right now.
Yeah. I think all the crafting being in League mechanics is just not that great. I think that's where part of the problem is that they
Sure.
keep putting the crafting options in the League mechanic itself.
I see that.
That's why I really want like more that's why I was saying like I like the Eldritch mods and all that, because that's like a currency thing that you find like that you constantly farm for as you play the game, and you want to go up to get more of it.
Yeah.
Like you want to invest more into your map to get more currency drops. You want to do all these other things that like, which is why I really like stuff like exalts and that way of crafting is just way more interesting to me. And like recombinators, I think again a great way of introducing trade or introducing crafting to PoE, where you like mix and match things together and try for better items.
I don't know.
Like farming Jun, and I don't know. There's like so many ways of like.
I'm not
unlocking...
sure. I'm not sure you agree on like that type of crafting being my favorite. I would like to see a bit of a balance pass where deterministic crafting is still in the game, but that's like let's say there's like 5 different tiers of gear, right? And like you have tier 1 with like cheap deterministic crafting, tier 2 with like okay deterministic crafting, and maybe some like tier 3 stuff, in some slots with like very deterministic but expensive deterministic crafting. And then you have tier 4 and 5. Like the highest tiers of gear are like completely RNG, and that's like more like the type of crafting you're talking about. But I would like a lot more deterministic for good gear being achievable too. Like I think you can have both. I don't like it whenever the best gear in the game is available. Like you copy paste it in from POB, like ritual harvest. But there's a happy
So one of
medium.
the, I think one of the, and it's a really difficult because I get where you're coming at, but the problem in PoE is that, and now this is the problem here becomes how do you design this and how do you actually make this happen? But it's a lot of the time with deterministic crafting, it ends up where players go from not having the mod to having the best mod with how we interact with things. Like you keep spamming until like that one best thing plus thing, then you'll like block one thing until best thing again, and you end up with like 3 or 4 perfect mods, which is generally like good enough to like that's insane in general in PoE to have like 3 or 4 perfect mods on the thing plus whatever.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that's
hard.
the problem with deterministic crafting is like it especially and I think it's especially because we have meta crafting where you block and where you hold and where you keep, to where you always end up, picking the best things, and it really like emphasizes the builds that just need those like 2 or 3 mods to be like completely overpowered to then have access to all of that.
Yeah, it's a hard one to balance, but I don't know. I don't know. I would definitely want more. Like, it's so hard as well because like we can no life so much,
Mm-hmm.
so it's hard for people that can't.
But I'm not saying you should make it harder to get lower level gear,
Right.
right? I would say that you would constantly try and upgrade more all the time with what you get, rather than, because if in PoE,
Sure, I
I
agree
feel
with that. Like the best
so many
feeling is when you have
times.
reasonable upgrades in sight.
Yes, because so many times in PoE, you were holding out until we collect that base item plus that thing, meta, into boom, boom, now I have my item.
Yeah.
Rather than it being like a more of like a journey of different items that are like you're changing them out and stuff. I mean, that's the what's happening right now in Ruthless is that you have that journey on all your pieces constantly because like they are so shitty early on, so it's not that hard to like find something that upgrades them.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it will be, because you find that one piece that's like, oh, it just fit me. Like I'm probably never replacing that or whatever. But it's like, how do you take from that place to the next? A lot of the time in PoE, that used to be like uniques and stuff. That was like the next thing you would then
True.
start implementing in there.
Now uniques aren't very unique anymore.
No, unfortunate. And uniques would then essentially tell you to, oh, but because I have this unique on, I should probably reconfigure my gear to better suit this thing because it does some other things that allow me to do different things. And then, yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how it keeps progressing.
Itemization is definitely difficult in PoE.
Oh, yeah.
And like
Especially
hitting
because there's
that
so many
balance.
different types of players.
Yeah.
What are you league starting this league? Not build, like just like what league?
Hardcore SSF, I think.
Yeah, most likely me
Because I
too.
think it'll be enjoyable again because it's Arc Nemesis. It's strictly Arc Nemesis. Not playing a meta build with old Arc Nemesis was just not enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have one, like especially with resist and stuff or mobility. Like if you couldn't catch them, if you couldn't run, if they were running away or disengaging, or they had like 200% resist and you didn't have enough pen, it was just so unenjoyable.
True.
So I'm hoping that won't be the case. Like Trickster, Assassin, all those, or the things that completely removed all your physical mitigation, I'm like, okay, bro. We'll see. Hopefully it's better.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that in the recent manifestos, how they keep like removing class identity from ascendancies. That makes me sad.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I mean
From
they
which
they
one?
remove Ghost Shroud from Trickster. They took Wicked Ward away from Occultist. Now they're taking Maledict away from Occultist.
I don't think there's other places already, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I feel it's nice when Occultist was really special, personally.
I don't think occultist specialty has changed one bit because of this. It was just like you take some less damage and you do more damage. That doesn't really make it like occultist still offers you exactly what it did before, with the aurified like minus resist, or like that doesn't have like a downside. You have like the 2 nodes after, which are also really good. You still have the profane bloom. You have the extra curse. You can go through all the like curse immunity, and curses are going to be really strong. So it's like your curse is going to be feeling really good.
Yeah.
Like it was obviously very powerful, but I'm not sure if Occult is really losing any identity. It's losing power, but I'm not sure if it's losing identity. I agree with Ghost Routes and Wicked Ward and all that. That was a big change.
I mean, sure.
of taking the
I
identity
would
away.
say the other two are way more. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's still like continuing the trend.
Sure. I think this one was reasonable. The other two, I will agree that there are some like, kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think we're like pretty similar minded on Ruthless. Like
Yeah.
for me, it would be something I would do like a month and a half into the league.
Right. I think it'll be something I'll keep looking at, coming back to, hopefully providing some feedback, and then it will require some. I would like to know like what is it they expect
Yes.
out of us? Like what is the goal here?
What is the goal indeed?
Yeah. Because like for right now, it always stands in contrast to current PoE, right? It can't really not, because that's the other thing you play. And because of that, you have expectations of what you're supposed to do. It's just like all we know. It's a extreme scarcity, and it's hard. But that doesn't mean that you're not approaching it from a I still want to play PoE point of view.
Yeah. It is a rough one.
What are you league starting?
Probably hardcore SSF.
Nice.
I think. I don't know. I do like Trade League as well. It would be nice to get to the point where I can like literally farm the Ubers, which is a lot easier. And just actually, I don't know. Either hardcore trade or hardcore SF. I would love to do group found as well.
But anything else we like left out of the whole Ruthless thing?
No, I think that's the main stuff. It was a nice little discussion.
Yeah. I think so too.
All right. Thanks so much for joining the talk, Nugi. I don't want to drag it out too long.
No. I think that's good for that talk.
Yeah, it was perfect. We should do this more often. I like it.
Sure.
All right. We should go for food soon, actually. I'm hungry. Should like grab dinner.
You should.
Yeah. I'll see you later, dude.
See you, Ziz.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Hopefully everyone enjoyed watching that on YouTube. Let me know if you want more like random impromptu podcasts while I'm playing the game like that. And so if you liked the video, thanks for watching. Try to die less than I do.